Love it. Love it. Hey guys, my name is Dan Duran and I'm the host of the Tech Lounge. Here we discuss topics related to business, technology, and cybersecurity. Welcome everybody to the show. Hacked? Don't do this. That's the theme of the show. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that cybersecurity is super important, but we want to make it entertaining. We want to make it fun for you so you can get the message in your head. Right, Andrew?
Absolutely not. You don't have to be like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone when he's like, ah.
Of course, we're wearing green today because yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. So there you go. Just remember, we stream live on YouTube every Friday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Also, we stream on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitch. And we're also on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. So please make sure you follow us using the hashtag DanDuran. Oh, hold on. I got that. What happened? There you go. All right. So sit back and relax. This is the Tech Lounge. Hacked? Don't do this. I have with me my co-host extraordinaire, the Rock of Rhino, the one and only, my superstar, Andrew Somerton. How's it going?
It's going well, Dan. How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. So
I love your shirt. Let me just, you know what, Dan asked me before the shirt. We got to make sure we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So I had to literally go through my closet to find something green because I had very little. But yours, I mean, it's like it was custom made for the show, so I love it. I just have to give a shout out.
Look at my face; it looks a little greenier than today, than the other days, right? So
well, you got the hat. I want you to show me your cup too. You got the hat. You got, I think your cup too. Don't you have drinking a cup that was green? There you go. You're all decked out. Nice.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. So I got a couple of 3 jokes to start, right, to get us going. So
lots of highs, by the way. Hey, everybody! I see on the channel Gladstone's in the background as usual. Thanks, Gladstone, for sharing all the technical skill sets back there, and a lot of shout outs to everybody. But we'll definitely say hi to everybody out throughout the show as we always do.
Absolutely. So, Gladstone, let's put the first joke on the screen. All right. What do you call it's St. Patrick's, right? So these jokes are going to be St. Patrick's related. So what do you call a leprechaun with a sore throat?
And please help, guys, because I definitely won't get the answers here. So give shout outs to what you think it could be. Leprechaun, scratchy, pot of gold, rainbow. I don't know. Anybody out there help me out?
All right, that would be a strapped trocon.
Streptocon. As long as you're laughing at it yourself.
Oh my god! Okay. Yeah, that was bad. These are like last minute jokes that I put that I look for. Okay, the second one. Right. What is the second one, Gladstone? When is an Irish potato not an Irish potato?
When it's an Idaho. When it's an Idaho potato, get it? Idaho.
That's good. That's good.
That's not bad. It wasn't bad. It was quick. Idaho. I don't know. When is an Idaho not an Irish potato? And it's an Idaho potato. I don't know. Idaho.
Yeah, that's when it's French fry.
When it's a French fry. I like my Idaho don't know better. Idaho potatoes.
Oh my god, this is killing me. Okay, the last one, number 3. Why did the leprechaun go outside?
Wow, it's very nice.
To find his pot of gold. Why did he go outside? You got me on this one.
Anybody out there?
Come on. I see Tamara is like, oh lordy, oh lord, here we go. Ha ha ha. We got. I don't know. Hello guys, happy. Come on, ha ha ha. We got anybody. We need an answer. Stop laughing at us.
He went to his patio.
He went to his patio.
Patio.
Patio. I'm sorry, everybody, for Dan's jokes today.
All right. Enough with that. Okay, so let's get serious. Cybersecurity is super important. What are the things? And I want to ask you this, Andrew. You know in your head that you do so many things that are not secure, that are insecure.
It's so true.
So just to give you an example, or give our audience an example, please tell us what are some of the things that you do that you know you should do better, but you don't.
You know what? You write your password sometimes down on stickies where you maybe shouldn't do it. And in all fairness, I've done that in the past, and thanks to Dan, I haven't anymore. I have kept passwords for a very long time, and very easy ones for me to remember, which makes it very easy for a hacker to get. But that has now been changed as well.
Yeah.
So those are a couple things I definitely have done. I will own it. And probably others that I probably don't want to openly admit on air. But those are a few that I would like to share.
Yeah, Sean says it's Friday and it's tech launch time. What could be better? Oh, thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Man, I love those words. Love it. Hi, everybody. Chances. Hello, Chances. I hope you're doing fantastic today. Absolutely. And Oscar Garrido says, hello, guys. Happy Friday. Right. So I'm going to tell you a little story about Andrew Somerton.
Okay. Whoa. How am I getting thrown under the bus here? I didn't even know. Wait a second.
I needed to get into his computer to solve a few things. He was having problems with his computer, and I asked him for his password. And you know what he did? He flipped the computer, and he had a sticky note on the back of the computer with his password on it. So one of the things that you should not do is put your passwords and sticky notes and put them somewhere. That is like so bad, right?
I got sticky notes everywhere. Look, see, they're everywhere.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's go to the videos. I want to show you 3 videos, and see what you think about these videos. And I think they're a little comical, but it gets the point across.
We have a new visitor. His name's Hattie, and Hattie is an old dear friend of mine. Actually, we worked together years ago, and he's an incredible young man, Hattie Mortada. Hi, Hattie. I think he's throwing me under the bus here too. So. Yeah, let's hear about Andrew. No, Hattie, we don't want to hear about Andrew. We don't want to throw him under the bus. I don't think that is the good thing to do during this show. It's about you, the audience, and learning, not me. But if my mistakes can teach you, then it's well worth it. Anyways, go ahead, guys. Good to have you, Hattie.
All right. Hello, Hattie. Nice to meet you. Okay, let's get on with the show and these clips. And these are funny. I think you're gonna have a laugh with this. This one is from Jimmy Campbell. This was a few years ago, actually 2015. So it's kind of old, but it's still very relevant. Check this out.
Great that the government is working on this, but the truth of the matter is we need to do a better job of protecting ourselves. You know, the most popular password in the United States is password 123. And as long as that's the case, we're vulnerable. So today we sent a camera out on a Hollywood Boulevard to help people by asking them to tell us their password. And this is how that went.
We're talking about cybersecurity today and how safe people's passwords are. What is one of your online passwords currently?
It is my dog's name and the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Chihuahua Papillon.
And what's its name?
Jameson.
Jameson. And where'd you go to school?
I went to school back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What school?
Hempfield Area Senior High School.
Oh, when did you graduate?
In 2009.
Oh, great.
Like my cat's name and then just like a random number.
Okay. Have you had this cat for a while?
Yeah, she's my childhood pet.
Aw. And what's her name?
Her name is Jolie.
Jolie. Mm-hmm. So like a password of yours would be Jolie and then a number.
Yeah.
Like number 1?
Like my birthday.
Oh, when is your birthday?
June 12th.
Oh, nice. And what year were you born?
95.
Oh, great. Mm-hmm. So Jolie, 6/12/95.
Yes.
Got it.
So you mean to give my...
All right. Okay. So that's the first one, and that's the one that people always fall for, right? So you got to make sure that your passwords are not short and they're a little more complicated right?
Absolutely.
So
And there's lots of really good tricks for it, which maybe we'll talk about a little bit, because I think I've learned a lot from those easy passwords to not easy passwords.
yes, exactly. And reusing your password, right? Like you're saying, okay, I reuse my password sometimes, but there's something called getting pawned, and that's POWNED, right? So getting pawned, and that means that sometimes what happens is that third party companies, let's say Sony got hacked, or any other big company, Capital One got hacked a couple of years ago, right? So they get your email address. The hackers get the email address and the password. So now the hackers have that password, and they might use that password against other applications that you might have to try to get to the data, right? So reusing your password is not a very good cybersecurity thing to do, right? So that's one of the things. Do not use the same passwords. Right. Let's
That's
get
good.
let's get another clip showing. This one is pretty good. And this is from Mimecast. Mimecast, they have several videos on cybersecurity. They are hilarious, and this one is one of my favorite. Let's get it playing.
Today is perfect for a security breach. Click on everything. That's the lesson I teach. There's no time to think. Just click on the link, and then wait and see what happens. Hello there. Ever wonder who's responsible for most security breaches? Well, you're looking at them. What do you say we go get in some people's heads? See if we can't get them to make some questionable decisions. Sound like fun? For me, it's just another day at the office. When it comes to security, you're going to hear a lot about what you should and should not do. All those mixed messages can get confusing, which is why I'm here to keep security simple. Let's start with passwords.
Due to a recent security breach, we need everyone to change their passwords.
Again?
Yeah.
This is so hard.
Remember to keep your password simple. Doug, you use the same password for everything. Just go with what you know. Do you have a favorite password that you use for personal stuff? Good news. There's nothing wrong with using the same thing at work. Also, remember to keep your password obvious.
Remember, don't make your password obvious. Right? Anything predictable, easy to hack.
And easy to remember. Sure, the hackers might get it, but you won't forget it. Use your dog's name and your birthday.
Larry 216.
Perfect. Keyboard patterns also work well. Felix, let's go middle row left.
Okay, that was.
I love it.
It's really good. So I want you to put in the chat right now.
I haven't seen that one before. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I want you to
Mr.
put
Rogers.
I want you to put in the chat right now who uses passwords that are very common, like your dog's name, your pet's name, your birthday, your don't put your password on the chat, please. Please do not put the password on the chat. Just say yes, me. I want to see how many of you, because everybody does this, and it's just crazy. Let's see who can.
Come on, don't be shy. We know you do it. Hattie, do you do it? If you're still watching, come on, tell us the truth. Everybody's shy. They don't want to admit to it. Here we go. Come on, we're waiting.
I know a few of you that
I openly admitted on air
that
I did it in the past. Come on.
Facepalm in there, because yes,
Oscar's not me.
No,
okay,
not you, Oscar.
Come on, Felix, put Felix up.
They're pleading the fifth. That's the problem. They're pleading the fifth.
Elizabeth, I'm not admitting anything. I use my neighbor's. Put up Hattie's. Put up Hattie's. I use my neighbor's dog's name. There you go.
That's hilarious. Sean actually commented on my new Shure
microphone. That's true. Yeah.
Microphone. So I just got this one a couple of days ago. It's and you got it right. It's an SM7B with the XLR on the back, but it doesn't have the USB. And I also have a 16 millimeter 1.4 camera lens. So I'm like a couple of weeks ago, I got
all right. Him and his
Rode.
technology toys.
Oh,
You can get back to these
I'm all
questions.
decked up, man. I'm all decked up.
I see. Wait a second. I use an old nickname, numbers and signs. LOL. You know what? That's okay. And you know what? Some really great tips are when using a password. Obviously, the more letters you have, or numbers, or symbols, are much better. Ideally, 16 plus is great as well. But if, let's say you use something like, and we've talked about this before, a common a movie phrase like "say hello to my little friend." I know, Dan, you use that all the time. But you could change like maybe the S's to 5s, and then you put like exclamations at the end and a couple periods and stuff that would make you remember. So instead of an S being like an S, make it a 5. And changes like that is going to help secure those common passwords to make you remember them, but help them become more secure. So just a nice little tip.
It's very nice.
It's
very nice. What do you do when you try to get into a website, let's say your bank account or your your what do you call it, 365, and then you keep on getting logged out? Like you try to get in, you put your credentials, and then you click on login and it doesn't work. That is a big sign that you've been hacked.
Yeah,
okay, absolutely. Because that could be two things. It could be first a landing page that is a phishing scam that somebody sent you, right? And then you clicked on it, you go to the landing page, you put your credentials, and it doesn't work. Look at the URL. If it's not the right URL, you probably giving away your password to a hacker already.
And you know what? Let's just go back, reiterate that, Dan, because a lot of people may not understand that. You go to put in your password and you're not allowed in. All of a sudden, a fake landing page could come up that looks real and ask you to put your information back in. Verify using the URL up top that it's actually legit, because that happens an awful lot of times. And if you're not aware that that could happen, you could be putting in and resetting your password on a hacked landing page, which is now giving the hacker all your information.
Yes.
So it's really, really important you heard that, because it's critical.
Absolutely. And the second thing that could have happened is that a hacker already stole your information. They logged into the application and then they changed the password. So when you try to get in, you're not going to be able to get in successfully because they already did that. They already changed it. And that happens a lot, for example, on Facebook, right? I see all the time, man. All the time, family members, friends, oh, my account is being hacked. And I see messages from people that I haven't talked to, for example, for 2 years saying, hey, check my video out. I click on it. There's a landing page with username and password. And I'm like, oh, man, this account got hacked. and they can't get into it, right? So you have to have second or third mechanisms where you can retrieve that information and get the hackers out of your account, right? So what not to do is don't enter your passwords on the URLs, for example. Don't share your passwords. Don't make them complicated. Don't reuse them. Those are really, really good tips. Right?
And also in regards to that, they could be very, very strategic. We had one of our customers one time did exactly that. And then they actually posted a phone number. Please call us and we'll walk you through the process. And they called this number that was on the site, and it actually went to a hacker organization where they took all the literature, all the information, all the pertinent stuff, and they actually ended up hacking the client, which was we actually had to isolate their computer, shut it down, reformat it, etc. But you need to do due diligence. And again, this isn't about creating fear; it's about creating awareness. That is going to give you the tools to make sure that you're doing all the right things to ideally mitigate risk of being hacked, which is really important.
Yes. Gladstone is informing me that my video is lagging right now, so I just put it in 720. See if that's going to help. If not, I'm sorry. You can see me talking.
Like an old,
like
an old karate movie.
Yeah. So that's something not to do, right? So when you see a pop-up on a screen and then you think there's a problem with your computer and there's a pop-up says call this number, don't call the number. It's not Microsoft. It's not Apple trying to get you to call them. It's not an antivirus, technical support. So make sure that you don't call those numbers, because those are fake numbers, right?
Absolutely. We have some questions that so from McGill, is it a bad idea to use the same password but in a different order?
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. It's not a bad idea as long as it's complicated. So, for example, you use a string set of numbers, and like you get complexity and in length, and then you can change. But come on, don't change just one digit, right? Don't one character. Exactly. So like you have the same password and then you just change one. F for Facebook, T for Twitter, L for Instagram. Come on, man. You gotta be smarter than that. You gotta change a few characters inside of that password. It is very common to do that. What I suggest is using different words, right? So cloud, beer, Irish, dog, and make them just a string of different words. Those are they're never going to be hacked if you make it really long, right? So I think that answers your question. So
wow, it's very nice.
Very nice.
This is Dan's toy, guys, just so you know. So I do love it. I think it's great, but he likes to throw his. That's very nice.
Metal Gear there. Okay, Oscar asked, ideally, how many characters or special characters should a password have? The longer the better.
Longer the better. Minimum 16 letters, icons, etc. would be the ideal number to go with. 16 plus is ideal, and then mix it. Capitals, lowercase,
yes.
Throwing in, like I said, an S instead of a 5. Things like that. Things that you're going to remember, but basically makes the
absolutely
chance of being hacked very, very difficult.
If it's less complex, it's got to be at least 16. If it's more complex, 12. I think you can get away with it. Now, if you use a password manager solution, like we use LastPass, for example, I have my password set up, like 30, 40 characters that I know that nobody's going to be able to hack that in centuries. Like I'm talking about 500 centuries, right? Like as we saw one of the shows, right? So okay, all the things not to do. If you get hacked, let's say you're being hacked, don't sit, don't wait. You need to act very fast. You need to go and change the passwords, and not just for one account. Try to change it for all the accounts that you have, right? So if you see that you're missing money in your checking account or your credit card, the first thing that you got to do is call the credit card, call the debit card or your bank, and report theft, right? And they will help you with that right away. So you got to act on it. Don't sit and wait, right? So don't sit and wait. Act on it very quickly. If you're missing your wallet, and you kind of know that you actually lost it, make sure that you get replacement for all of those cards right away, and monitor afterward, because your social insurance number, your health card, your driver's license could still be around in the hands of somebody that is a bad entity, and all of a sudden you're going to get impersonated, right? So people can do, like, hackers can do bad things, like buy houses and mortgages on your name and all of that stuff, right? So you got to monitor. It's not just don't sit, don't wait, do it right away, and don't and monitor your accounts, monitor your stuff. So I think that's a good one, right? What another thing that you should not do? Okay, we got a comment here.
Okay,
it is important to know that if a friend on Facebook sends you a fake landing page, it is not necessarily his fault. Maybe he was hacked and they're impersonating him. Of course.
Absolutely, yeah.
You call your friend right away. You say, hey, buddy, your account is being hacked. Make sure that you change your password and stuff. And usually people know right away, right? That they've been hacked. And they send messages to everybody saying, alerting them. I think that's a good thing to do. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that dual factor authentication. Every
I was
single
gonna say that, yeah.
application has multi-factor authentication. Use it, because even if you have a really bad password, like Andrew has all the time,
But I'll bump. I knew that was coming.
make sure that even if you have a bad password, still they need a second method of authentication to be able to get into your account. So multi-factor authentication is super important, right? So the other thing that you should not do, you go into coffee house, like into somebody else's business and stuff like that, and then you're like, oh yeah, free Wi-Fi.
Free Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Who doesn't love free Wi-Fi, right? So don't do it. Just don't do it. Get a VPN, right? So your connection is encrypted. And if you don't, then just use your phone's tether, right? So your hotspot, you can use your data from your phone into your computer. So I never trust any public Wi-Fi, and even if you're in a city and they're providing free Wi-Fi, I went to the hospital the other day to pick up my to do an exam on my shoulder, and they have free Wi-Fi, right? So in the hospital, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna sign into the Wi-Fi in the hospital. I'm just gonna use my regular cellular, right? So because I don't trust networks that are not mine. I don't trust networks that are not my company or our company or my home, right? So any network out there is a public network. So don't piggyback on the free Wi-Fi ride. Okay, so that's another.
For sure. Another tip, and again, not to be scared of, but cybersecurity and hacking has become so advanced that there are literally hackers out there that pay in Google, and we talked about this in other shows too. They'll pay advertisements for specific categories. So if, let's say you're searching something specific and you go to Google, and the top where it has paid advertising, and then it goes down to the organic searches. Well, those paid advertising that are at the top of the page could be a potential hack page where they bought that advertising. You go in and you basically put in your credentials, you've got information, etc., and you potentially could be getting hacked that way as well. So it's about taking a look at what you're doing and how you're doing it. So things not to do would be, I would recommend you not to do that.
Yep. Okay, other things that you should not do. When somebody's calling you, and
we can use, Dan, just to your point, sorry, just because right here, but remember that thought. We can use VPN for public Wi-Fi connects. Absolutely, that's what Dad was mentioning. Great, 100%. I'm glad you put it on there. Just to reiterate that, absolutely.
Yeah. Changes is he's a really reputable guy. I always see his comments and everything that he does in LinkedIn. We appreciate you being here and commenting on that. And absolutely, why? I mean, some of the VPNs. Okay, so VPNs, some of them are free, right? Some of them are free. You can download them in NordVPN. There's a whole bunch of them out there. They're still better than nothing. Okay, they're still better than nothing. We use our own company VPN, right? Which is, I think, is the most secure. Or I use Tor when I'm in the computer, so I go through the Tor channels. But still, just because I don't trust third-party vendors. That's a problem. I don't trust third-party vendors, but still using one of those VPNs is better than using nothing. Of course, nothing at all, right? So, all right. So, are you using free antivirus?
Is that directed at me?
No, I know you have Sentinel-1, which is one of the best anti-ransomware antivirus EDR with the whole vigilance. So no, you're not, because we know that in our company we don't use free antivirus, but a lot of people do, right? So one of the things about the antivirus is that your Windows Defender is actually pretty good. So why are you going to download, let's say, Avast or a AVG free edition, and when your Defender is actually pretty decent, right? The key is that you have to maintain them. You have to make sure that your computer is always up to date and all your antivirus, your firewalls are set up. Windows makes it very easy. They put a little shield, a green shield that turns red or turns yellow on the bottom toolbar, right, on the tray, to you to pay attention to that, right? So you can use Windows Defender. That's not a problem. Now, if you want to have more robust security, then of course get into a paid antivirus solution. We use in-house. We use, and with our clients we use Sentinel-1. I think it's a little more expensive than the than other ones, but I think it's a good protection, right?
Windows
Yeah.
Defender,
So
VPN.
Sean says Windows Defender and VPN is the only protection I have. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
I like Shanzi's comment too. He says, basically nothing is free. I don't know if you want to put that back up there, Gladstone, but it's so true.
Yes.
It's so true.
Nothing is free. So when things are free, it's because you're selling your data, right? So Facebook is free. Why is it free? It's because you've given them every single data point that you have, your age, even your family status, your behavior, your name, your email address. They know everything about you. So things that are free are usually because they want something from you, and data is very expensive, right? So you're giving away your data. So not to scare you on these things. This is not a show about privacy, right? But yeah, so yeah.
One of the big things too, I mean, we could talk about, obviously we're talking about being hacked, etc. And there's pros and peaks and pros and cons, I should say, to different type of phones. So for example, Android or iPhone. iPhone, I find personally, this is my own opinion, but I think through research, etc., it's the truth, but is a more secured entity. It's like its own island. They're much more strict with who can come in, apps that can be added. Everything gets secured, constant updates. Where an Android, they kind of let everybody in. It's kind of like a free-for-all, the old West. And so what happens is you'll get a lot of applications, a lot of things you can download on an Android that you may not see on Apple, which is it's going to invite potential, obviously, people getting hacked and stuff. So if you're out there and you're looking at different devices and why this isn't pro or against Android or Apple, everybody has a preference. But in all fairness, Apple is probably a much more secure device for multiple reasons.
Yes, absolutely. I think you hit a really good point. So what not to do? Don't download apps just because you want to try them. Okay, make sure you go into the App Store or your Google Play and see the reviews, how many people have downloaded it, and check the app out before you download it, because it could be a rogue app, especially in Android, because yes, Android has a little bit of more. Now it's been getting better,
right? For sure.
But it's got a more lenient process for approving apps in the App Store. And through BeWire Technologies, we develop apps, and it takes about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks for Apple to approve an app.
Exactly.
It takes about a day for Android to approve one of our apps, right? So yeah, you get, especially in Christmas time and kind of like the different seasons, there's new apps that are in Android, and they can be full of malware, and then people get hacked, and then Android or Google takes them out of the store, but after you get hacked. So yeah, the other thing is what not to do. Don't sit and just let your phone go out of date, or your security updates. Don't, as soon as they come out, make sure that you implement them right away. And if you go to your Apple, on your Apple device, or even in Android too, you can see right away which apps need to be updated. Make sure you constantly do this. And it's a nightmare sometimes, because I do it every week. Every week I go, I'm like, 50 apps out of and then next week I'm like, 30. And I'm like, okay. So what I do is, like, when I'm charging overnight the phone, I just put it on updates, and updates all the apps, updates the operating system, and we're good to go, right? Because Apple has been having a lot of 0-day attacks lately. They all do, right? But you want to take care of your updates. The other thing, all right.
Go ahead, Dan. I was going to say one thing. So we just had a call actually the other day at the office, which I won't mention names, etc. But it was a really good point. So this individual's company was hacked. Their email was hacked, and actually it was hacked to the point where they were actually having fake emails come in and money transfers going to the hackers. And one of the things they did was immediately, and again, it's about immediacy, what you said, Dan, which is so true, is two-factor authentication. Immediately, they changed their passwords and they implemented this. And that right away, I'm sure, mitigated probably 90% of the concern at that point. Yeah. They reacted. They didn't have the information. They called us for our expertise. We're still in the process of discussing things with them. But I wanted to share that story because it was a right move. They did a very good job right away by identifying it and implementing that. So it's not about panicking. It's about having an answer and then basically mitigating what's happened and then fixing it immediately.
Yeah, and if you're in IT and you think that you have two-factor authentication and you're secure, make sure that the computers that go home, right, the computers that you're sending with employees, you disable the Outlook and the Teams and Drive, OneDrive applications on the computers. Just let people go into the website, office.com, enter the credentials and do the multi-factor authentication in there, but don't install them on the computer, because the computer, when you click on the Outlook app, it won't prompt you to multi-factor authentication. Right now, there's other things that you can use, like the Windows. I think it's called InFocus, where you can put a dual factor authentication to the actual machine with your Windows Hello, for example. I think that helps quite a bit as well. But then you have to pay more for licenses, right? So that's a technical tip if you're in IT security. We have some comments. Can you put the comments on the screen to see what people are saying?
Let's get some questions. I like the questions. If people spend time to read and understand Facebook, obviously the EDLR, it would be less popular. It would be less popular. Well, yeah, absolutely. No, that's the problem, right? Any of those, it's like 400,000 pages of information. Is like accept.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everybody has a ULA, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically the pop-ups with the privacy policy that you have to accept to get into the application or the website or whatever software. Every single software has a EULA, right? So Facebook is one of the worst, and I think that's a good comment from Sean, because Facebook is that's what their business is, right? Yeah. So if you look at Google, for example, even Google, Apple, whatever other company, they have an offering, they have products, they have services that people use. Facebook, on the other side, they don't have. I mean, they only have a few products like the Meta and the goggles and stuff like that just coming out, that they're not as popular, but their main business is gathering information, right? The social media, right? So their terms are pretty nasty, right? So all right, so that's the end user license agreement. Thank you, Gladstone. He puts it in there, the EULA, end user license agreement. Perfect. Read them up if you have, like a
2.5 hours
minutes to absolutely die from boredom. Make sure you read them, right? So, okay. So, anything else in there?
Erase everything that is posted.
Facebook owns the right to anything that is posted. Wow, I didn't know that. That's something I knew. I thought the content that we posted, like this show, for example, it's ours, but I guess they own it.
That's you gotta rethink this.
Okay, what else? What not to do? Oh, if it's free, you are the product. Absolutely, Oscar, and you hit it right on the head, right?
Yeah,
nail on the head. If it's free, it's you are the product. So yeah, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, and as an example, we've all seen it. Those creepy ads that follow us around because they know our trends, and it's programmatic advertising as the technical term. It's all sold based on our activities, right? So indirectly, to Oscar's point and to this whole conversation about being hacked, we're not necessarily being hacked in a negative way either. Being hacked in the way that people are using, these big corporations are using our data and our information to for us to be targeted for sales and everything else. And some people love it, some people don't. but that's also another form of, you're not being hacked by any means, but you're being used for your information. So
yeah, absolutely.
it's important.
And you know what? And I was reading an article. TikTok is one of the worst. It's one of the worst because when you, I mean, I don't want to scare you. If you have TikTok on your phone, for example, it tracks everything, even the apps that you're using in your phone. It tracks which apps you're using. They are able. Oh my God! If I told you the things they can do, they can actually put scripts into the phone and then and run them, and that's pretty scary. So there's an article that I read that a researcher actually started looking at or reverse engineering the TikTok app, and he was able to find really bad stuff that an app should not be doing when downloaded. So TikTok, it's pretty bad, right? So what are the things that you should not do? Don't click on everything. Okay. Somebody sending me an email. I don't know who this guy is, but it has an attachment. Let me click on it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Go ahead, Dan. I know you're. Where is it? Where is it?
There, an alarm.
He needed something. Yeah, I you know what? It's funny because I've been so conditioned not to. I literally will now answer the phone when I answer my cell phone and I don't recognize the number. A lot of times, if I don't recognize the number, I don't even pick it up. But if I don't, I do have a lot of people calling me, a lot of companies, etc. So I'll answer the phone, but I won't say anything. I won't even say hello. I'll wait until I have someone call, answer to me before I even say anything, because you can even be hacked through voice on your phone. So a lot of things to be concerned with, obviously, when you're thinking about that. So, like I said, I'll just hang up if someone doesn't answer right away.
Especially if the number is weird. There's like 9 or 10 digits and there's a V at the beginning.
Exactly.
Obviously, that is some sort of voice over IP that it could be somebody from anywhere in the world calling you, right? And the worst is when, this is Amazon and there's a delay package. Press 1 to
exactly.
And if you press 1, please don't press 1. Okay.
What? I'm going to share something. I'm going to jump in there, Dan, because I think it's really important. So just so everybody, whoever is watching that doesn't know me.
wait. Sean says, unplug your mouse.
I saw that. I was hoping that you won't have to click on anything. That's perfect.
That's a good one. Good.
I wanted to jump in there because you know what? A lot of people, and I'm going to use me as an example for those of you who know me. So my parents live with me, and my mom has dementia, and so she doesn't understand. But my dad, who's 83 years old, always allows her to pick up the phone and answer the phone. And I'm like, I keep telling him all the time, Dad, don't, because she has enough knowledge that if someone says push 1 or do something, that she potentially could. So, be aware of your surroundings is kind of where I'm going with this, meaning that, for example, in this situation, elderly people especially, and if someone, for example, in my situation has dementia, they shouldn't be answering the phones and answering questions or giving information on a anytime basis. So just little tips that you shouldn't be doing. So for those of you who have elderly people who live with you or someone who's sick, they probably shouldn't be answering the phones if they don't understand what they're saying or who's on the other end.
Yeah. And it's a mess because so if you get a text message that says, I got one that was, your money has been deposited from PayPal or something like that, right? And if you respond, seriously, if you respond saying stop this or anything to the hackers, you're letting them know that they actually hit a right phone number, that they have somebody in there. So now you're going to start getting calls, you're going to start getting messages. Don't even bother. Just block them.
Exactly. And I can promise you all, you don't have a relative that's leaving you $500 million over in like Nigeria. so don't click on that link and respond to I promise you don't.
Yeah. There's Oscar says there's a warrant for my arrest from the CRA.
I love those. Me too. I get that call all the time.
Yeah, there's a warrant for the arrest, or there's some litigation. So stay on the line.
If you don't click one now, press 1 now. We're gonna have the police will be deployed to your home.
Sean says I got an urgent call from the Visa Mastercard company. When did they join forces? Visa, MasterCard.
That's actually it's something that you should be. That's another really great tip. And Sean, thanks for sharing that. Typically, anybody who is hacking you, or anybody who has bad intent, is a panic. They create a panic.
Yes.
Most people who are going to be high targeted are going to react to a panic situation. So if someone's in a panic to talk to you or a panic to create urgency, the odds are it's not something that's real. So just be aware of that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And Camara says something in there. She says she loves clicking, and some people, and that's why I'm saying don't click on everything, because some people they click, okay, without thinking, right? You get an email, an attachment, links. They go to a hacked website, and people love clicking. I don't know. You have to. So what not to do? Don't click without knowing what you're doing, right? So take at least 10 seconds to check before you click, right? Yeah. So then when you click, you know where you're going, right? So what happens is you can get your browser infected, right? With the a browser extension, for example. So if you click on a link, let's say you click on a link, it installs an extension on your browser, and then you're gonna start seeing things like pop-ups, right? So like pop-ups everywhere, or technical support, or you go to a website and you click on the link and it goes to another website that says casino and things like that. That means your browser is infected. So if you keep on clicking, things like that are going to happen to you. Exactly. So think before you click. That's kind of the main thing, right?
Hey, Dan, question for you. So speaking of, I'm going to use my parents as another example. So my father, who's an older gentleman, he sends emails or receives emails from his friends with probably 30 or 40 people on the same email. So an email strand with 30 or 40 different emails on that. Gosh. You want to talk to how important that, how non-secure that is? Maybe you want to just kind of mention something about that. Do not do this, guys.
Absolutely. Those are chain mail, right? Like remember the 1990s? This is going back to the 1990s.
But they're still doing it. They're still doing it.
Yeah. So, you just reply all and then put your contact list. And then all of a sudden you see an email with like 100 different emails. And some of those emails, if you go through them, they're company emails. And they're like, oh my God, because if you have somebody that wants to harvest data, that's very easy. It's just, Tom Cruise, and then Tom Cruise at blah, 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 whatever, .com, right? So you have the name and the email. You can create a malicious or a spammy list and send it out if you're a bad actor. So that is like definitely no. If you're going to do that kind of stuff, actually, I should rephrase it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Exactly. Why are you doing that? Right. So it's better to be BCC, so people don't see the emails. But Sean says real correspondence from a company will not be delivered via text or phone calls. Absolutely. So somebody calls you pretending they're a company. You can tell them, listen, what is your agent name and your your number, your ID? I will call the company.
Exactly.
Okay, so because sometimes they're legit. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes there are some calls that are legit, but anybody that is asking me, and it's usually promotional stuff. So, for example, I got a call from Rogers, asking me how my service was, and if I want to take advantage of a promotion or something like that, right? So I'm like, okay, you give me your badge or give me your number, your ID, and your name, and I will call the company. Okay, so then I go to the website, Rogers.com.
Not the number they give you.
Here's the number.
Not the number they give you.
Not the number. Don't ask for the number. Okay. Yeah. So go to the website and then actually check the legit number, call, and then ask for that person or that ID number to get connected. For in the CRA, I know that CRA uses PIN. My PIN code is this. CRA also sends you emails. However, in the email, it's in English and French, but they won't send you any links. They won't send you attachments. they will just tell you that there's something in your inbox in your CRA. So just log into the CRA website, but no links whatsoever, right? So you got to be careful with this kind of things, right? So all right, so let's go into do we have anything else? Any other comments?
Any other questions, comments? I hope this kind of giggle banter back and forth is actually educational, because it's fun, because we're having fun with it. It's a very serious matter, but I think you learn by real life experiences and actually people understanding that sometimes it can be silly, but we all do it. We all overlook things. We all take the simplest path. It's just about being aware and doing those little things that's going to help protect you moving forward. And the more aware you are, the less opportunities someone out there is going to basically hack you, because you don't want to ever be in that situation. It's not fun for anybody.
Absolutely. So this is from a YouTube channel called the Cyber Maniacs. Okay. And I think you're gonna get a giggle out of this.
I love our videos. I love them.
Yeah, check this out.
When my inbox gets a nasty surprise, that fishy smell goes up to my eyes. Weird emails and something is strange. Account information or something has changed. Emails seem fishy. I know what to do. Listen to me and you can be safe too. Forward and delete. To your IT department, send it your way, and you can return to your working day.
What do you think about that?
Get a dance to it. I like to learn. You got to give the shout out to the video. Kind of a cute little video, actually. So
it's a good video. I mean, there's different ways to try to get people to understand the message, and obviously using puppets to do that, I think is a good idea. Same with the human error, right? Human error is like, this is me, the human error, right? You have to, because there's something called death by PowerPoint. Okay. And this happens in companies, right?
Been there, done that.
Yeah, I've done it many times in the past. I learned from my mistakes. Okay. So sometimes what companies do is like, oh yeah, we're going to have the yearly cybersecurity awareness training, and it is a 3-hour presentation by one of our cybersecurity experts who's going to go through, and people are
I'm sleeping. I'm going to.
They fall asleep, right? So, especially nowadays when the attention span is so low that you really have to have bits and pieces, right? So micro learning is the key for cybersecurity in companies like Mimecast. They do a good job because they put fun stuff and kind of a hilarious content, and this company makes it cutesy, right? So they put this puppets in there
together. One thing they do, there's some amazing companies out there that actually have cybersecurity awareness training. I mean, we have our own ourselves, but there's a lot of where, to your point, Dan, there's little snippets, and they're real life, and they're fun, they're interacting, they're engaging, and you learn quickly. And there's some companies out there for your organizations that it's a fun exercise to learn. It really, really is. And they've been getting better and better and better at it. There's no question. So
yes, absolutely. So Sean asks, if someone gets hacked, aside from disconnecting the endpoint from the network, what else should be done? Okay, it really depends on the level of activity or malware that the computer has. If it's, for example, a browser that's infected with an extension, you don't need to reformat the computer. Okay, you don't need to you just go in, clean it up, right? And reset the browser, for example, to default settings. Make sure you run the antivirus and do all that stuff, and then you'll get back. You get that endpoint back and running, right? So might not need to be disconnected from the network, right? So for more bad stuff, then you need to do it. If it's, for example, a rootkit, then you're gonna have to reformat the entire computer. So and make sure that, okay, so Sentinel-1 does a good job because you can disconnect computers from the network, and then they won't have access to internet either, right? So you just and it could do it automatically. So automatically disconnects from the network, from the company network, but also from any network. So you can do a hotspot. You can't do a Wi-Fi or anything on your computer. It's just completely disable the your network card, right? So that's really good. But however, some other companies that don't have something like an advanced technology like Sentinel-1, if you manually disconnect the computer from the network, it might still have access to the internet through Wi-Fi, home Wi-Fi, for example. So the hackers could still be getting or have some sort of RCE, or that's a remote connection into your computer, or a backdoor, or your computer might still be hacked. You have to disconnect it from the internet altogether, right? So it's isolated. It has no access to the internet. That's the first thing. You can shut it off if you want, right? And then you have to see what's going on inside of the computer. You have to get it to a technician, do a little bit of forensics. When in doubt, just reformat, get a new disk image, install the new software and stuff, and get it up and running, right? Make sure, and this is evidence-based. Okay, so this is really important that Sean is asking this question. If you get hacked, if your computer gets hacked, and you're losing data, very sensitive, confidential data, or money, or anything like that, don't reformat the computer until you call the police and they'll tell you what to do, right? Because that's evidence. That could be evidence that they can use against the criminal. If you reformat the computer, then you will know what happened. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important that, and I'm talking about individuals, right? All right, so we got one more question and we'll wrap up. Okay, so Diego asked, what is your opinion about linking your Google account in all the platforms where you register? How dangerous is that? They hack your Google account and it's all lost, right? Not necessarily. Google uses authentications, right? This is you can authenticate different vendors and with your Google account. If your email gets hacked, it won't affect the vendors. However, it is not a good it's not a good standard to go by. I don't like doing that personally. I think it's still not a good thing to do. You have to just create the user account with your email and password. I think that's the best way. And then go into the configuration of that platform and then set up your two-factor authentication. Make sure you have a password management, so you can, because in my password manager, I have like 200 different applications, right? So there could be a chance that through Google, other vendors could get hacked. I think but it's better to just go straight email, password, and do that. The other thing not to do, thank you, Diego, for asking this question. What not to do? Don't use your company email to get into or register for personal accounts. Okay, what's business is business. What's personal is personal. So make sure you stay away from doing that. A lot of employees and a lot of people, they swap, right? So for example, I'm going into this third-party vendor, this website. I'm going to sign up for the company, and I put my personal information and my personal email address. Don't do that. That's business. That's your work, right? You should be putting the address that belongs to your company, right? And and the phone numbers that belong to the company and the email that belongs to the company. When on the other token, if you're actually doing the reverse, it's also not good. If you're going to, let's say, Facebook, and you can log in using your company email, that is a no-no. Don't do that. Don't mix them, right? So keep them separate. I think that's a good tip in there, right?
And you know what, to that point, social media can be used for business. So for example, LinkedIn is more of a business platform than Facebook. So to your point, your Facebook one may have your business information on it, and your LinkedIn one may have your business stuff, and your Facebook may not, right? So it's very important how you define the difference between the two and what you're using that social media platform for.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
Oh, nice. I get very nice on that one.
You got a very nice. You got a very nice. And you know what? It's St. Patrick's Day, but as the time goes by, because we're almost at the end of our show, I'm turning greener and greener and greener and starting to look like the Hulk.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. That's it for today. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. All the love that you're giving us, all the questions.
Absolutely.
And I hope to see you next week.
And a special shout out to Hattie there for joining. I think it's his first show. So hopefully we'll see you again. We have this every Friday. And everybody else who's joined us, obviously, we love the love. We love the support and the interaction. It's a pleasure. And we wouldn't enjoy the show without y'all. So thank you. And Dan, you are looking like the Hawk now, buddy. You're looking great. You're looking huge. Look at that.
Thank you so much, everybody. We'll just end. We're going to put the credits in there. People just saying thank you, and then before we leave.
So we can dance to the end. Thanks, guys.